Alright, so nagbabalik tayo sa ating violin tips and tricks. And for today's video, I want to talk about calluses or yung kalyo sa ating mga daliri, especially on the left hand. Is it normal for a violinist to have those types of calluses in your fingers? Okay, yan yung sasagutin natin. Because I've been hearing a lot na parang if you are really good in playing your instrument, especially the violin, marami daw kalyo yung kamay. And I believe this is really a common misconception na kapag maraming kalyo or maraming calluses sa kamay natin or sa daliri for that matter, is that you're actually better. But it's actually the opposite. It means that it's either you're not doing it properly or your instrument might need something set up. Yun yung important. Okay, so first, I wanna show you my fingertips, no? So, nadalas nakikita naman natin. So, my fingertips, ayan. Simulan natin sa pinky. And then, let's go to the ring finger. This is my middle finger. So, kung mapapansin nyo, wala naman siyang kalyo. And, for the record, I've been playing for almost 20 years now, the violin. So, most of the time, we practice 2-3 hours a day, ganyan. Minsan, even more. But, it never occurred to me na kailangan magkaroon ka ng kalyo sa daliri. Even when I was starting out, no, hindi talaga siya yung naging basis eh. And, as I grew older, and I realized, bakit nga ba ganun yung thinking nila? Kasi, sa guitar yata, I'm not sure if it really affects a lot of guitarists kasi hindi naman talaga ako nag-guitar. But yun, nakikita maraming may kalyo sa kamay, ganyan. Sa stringed instruments like the violin, the viola, siguro sa cello pwede, pero yeah, comment down below if you're a cellist kung may kalyo ka sa kamay or kung wala, no? Or sa bass. Wala naman ako masyado nababalita ang ganun. So I don't think it's really necessity to have those marks in your hands, no? May kalyo ka sa daliri. Kasi why is it so? Number one, the strings on a violin is relatively thin. Manipis lang siya. Diba? So, yan, yung violin strings natin. Hindi na masyado kita yung ikis. Medyo kinakalawang na. But it's relatively thin. No? I mean, the instrument has a higher tension than a guitar per se, yung tension ng string. But it's way thinner than that. So, hindi ka dapat magkakalyo because it's going to be lighter on your hands. Mas madali siya i-press or mas madali i-stop yung strings because they are thinner and they are actually fairly close dun sa ating fingerboard. So, sabi nga natin, we don't really rely on force for us to be able to stop the strings. What we rely on most is the dexterity and the quickness of how we press down. Pero we don't need much effort to really press down to the point na nahihiwa-hiwa na yung daliri natin. No? So, we don't want that to happen. Kasi, syempre, the more marks or scars or calluses that you might have on your fingertips, the less effective you're gonna be playing. Kasi, di ba, napaka-importante nung specific angle, specific position, specific location of the fingertips when you're stopping. Ngayon, pag may kalyo ka sa kamay, syempre yung iba namamagayon or lumalaki. So, hindi na magiging accurate. It will affect your intonation, it will affect the way you play, the way you use your vibrato. Kasi, lahat ng bagay na yun, makakatulong. It's either it's gonna help you out or it's gonna disrupt the normal way of your playing, no? So, hindi mo naman kailangan talaga mag-press down. And hindi dapat magkalyo yung daliri, no? Even like hard spots, I don't think my fingertips are quite different from a normal person who doesn't play the violin as well. Hindi naman ganun ka-drastic yung difference niya. It's just that siguro mas sanay na or mas sensitive pa nga yung fingertips natin because we always use them, diba? But not to the point that there will be calluses. So, I'm speaking not just for myself, but for others na rin na alam nila yung ginagawa nila. If you really understand how it works, it won't really affect your body that much. Hindi ka masasaktan. No? So, if your technique is okay, tapos nagkakaroon ka pa rin, the number 2 or the second point that I would want to talk about in this video is that your instrument might need setting up. No? Okay, number 1, when this thing comes in mind is your action, yung action ng ating bridge. No? If the tension is too high, masyado siyang malayo sa ating fingerboard, if it's really far from your fingerboard, the problem would be you need to press hard, diba? Just to keep it down on the fingerboard. So, you have to make sure that the bridge height and the fingerboard height is very well, calibrated. Para when you put on the strings, it seems that it would take that same angle, and the fingerboard and the the fingerboard and the strings are almost parallel to each other. Para pag nag-press down ka, sakto lang yung pagbagsak mo. And mas accurate yung magiging intonation. No? So, you have to have your bridge check. No? Even your neck maybe. Kung nakababa na rin yung neck, that could also be a problem. That would be bad for your strings and be causing your calluses on your fingers. Diba? Kung mababa yung neck mo. So, you'd have to have your neck reset para maipasok siya into the optimal position. I think there's this trick that they use that kapag yung pinky can't fit inside the gap in between your body and the fingerboard, that it's a bit lower na. So that you have to get it checked. No? And of course, the bridge height should always be checked as well. No? Kapag medyo mataas siya, or if you bought a new bridge, you just can't put it on your instrument. Kailangan muna natin ipakat, kailangan muna natin ipashave, or even have the feet fitted properly onto your instrument para sigurado na maganda yung height, madaling tugtugan yung instrument natin. Of course. And then, it's not just the setup, but also the strings that you use that could also cause problems with your fingers, no? I'm not saying that using, more expensive strings would make it better. But make sure lang na gagamitin mong string is maayos yung winding, no? Kasi there are cheaply made strings that the winding is too far apart. Parang ganun yung itsura niya. Parang makikita mo yung winding ng strings is parang stripes instead of one solid color, no? So yung mga ganon, it scratches the skin, 'di ba? Nagkakasugat, kaya nagkakakalyo kasi nagre-repair yung body natin. So try to use, doesn't need to be the most expensive strings, but use strings that are made well, no? Maganda yung pagkakagawa. Because I had this experience, of course, when I was younger, no, my parents would buy me cheaper strings kasi syempre mahal talaga yung strings ng violin. But there is this brand, I don't wanna mention any brand, but meron siyang cheap, like for example 100 pesos lang yung string, and then there's a little bit higher price na around 350 per set. Pero kung titignan mo silang dalawa, the 350 pesos, yun yung sinasabi ko, parang yung winding niya is really far apart, far yung spacing. So ang tendency is ma-scratch talaga yung daliri. When you're shifting, masakit sa kamay. When you're trying to push down, mahirap din kasi nga uneven yung surface. So it might cause problems with your fingers, no? Magkasugat-sugat ka or something. So I would tend to buy the cheapest option at that time. Kasi yun yung mas okay, yung build niya, yung build quality. I don't know if it's the formula of those strings, but yeah, you have to really check out strings when you're buying them, especially kung hindi yung mga brand names na alam natin, like Pirastro or Tomastic, Infeld, those types of things, no? Yung mas mababa doon, especially if you don't have the budget to buy those strings and if you don't have the use for them. Kasi it's not just also about the quality of the strings, but also the materials it's made of. No? So let's say if it's made of steel, mas matigas talaga siya. So pwede ring nakaka-apekto siya sa action kasi if your strings are made of steel, yung chord is steel or whatever metal, it's gonna be harder to press. So you would need more effort. So babalik material, technique, di ba? And if it's made of synthetic material, like for example, nylon, mga ganun, may mga strings na ganun, no? It's easier to press down kasi mas malambot siya. And when you're trying to buy strings, you have to try it out. Meron din kasi different tensions or yung gauges nila. Some strings are really made to be hard, some strings are made to be soft, so you have to try it out. But at the end of the day nga, having calluses on your fingers as a violinist is not really something you should be proud of or something that you should keep. No, yung iba kasi parang, maganda to, meron akong kalyo, ibig sabihin tama yung ginagawa ko. It's not a sign that you are doing well. It's not a sign that you're getting better. But it's actually a sign that you are not doing well. It's a sign that you are trying to overdo something, or it's also a sign that your violin needs a little bit of a checkup. So, make sure to look for those things, no? Kung nagkakaroon ka ng kalyo, this is not something you should be really parang proud of na meron ka nito. It's not battle scars. It's the result of something wrong. Okay, merong mali dun sa nagagawa natin that we have to address as soon as possible para hindi na siya lumala. Okay? So, if this video helped you out, please do drop a like, comment down below more content you'd like to see, and of course, subscribe to my YouTube channel, follow me on all my socials, check me out on Spotify and all major music platforms for my podcast and original compositions, and of course, my course on Udemy is still available, check it out. And this has been Ryan Monakil for Violin Tips and Tricks, and I'll see you on the next video.